Hello everybody, and welcome to episode 5 of Lucy and Puck. As you remember, quite an eventful night last night for Puck here. Yes, and out of shame, he is not even sleeping in the same bed as Lucy. Kinda wonder if Lucy even notices at this point. But everybody is sleeping peacefully. Good old teenage James. Little Allie there, having her rest. And soon it will be time to begin the day. And Puck is the first up. I imagine he probably does not have an easy time sleeping today. Just kind of get that impression. So he's going to hit the bathroom and maybe he'll begin breakfast. It's always a good thing to do. Meanwhile, Lucy wakes up. Yes, it's a Sunday, so she doesn't have to go to work, but she's interested in moving up in her rankings, so certainly she's going to want to try to get somewhere with her skill points. I'll play the piano a little bit, something nice and relaxing to do. Also gives her that creativity point, which is certainly useful. And now little Allie wakes up. Getting up and using the bathroom. No school for her today. Her day in school will not be until the next day. And finally James, who has also had a very eventful evening. And now he's very much uncertain as to what to do. But it's okay because breakfast is now being served. Yes, everyone can put aside their differences and all their confusion and enjoy some pancakes. Yeah, I gotta enjoy the pancakes after all. So, breakfast is served, and everyone gathers around the table to eat together. The first time that Lucy and Puck have directly interacted with one another since the day before. And they're not saying too much to each other, just sort of the general kind of politeness, I suppose. Yes, and James, of course, is ever more conscious of his gut, and he doesn't even want to finish his pancakes. He's just so unhappy about the way that he was seen by Rita last night. So, with the help of a newly purchased exercise machine, James seeks to shed the extra pounds and build some muscle. So, meanwhile, the little Hermia has arrived. Allie's cousin, after all, and she's come over to play because there's nothing too much else to do, and Hermia wants to get out and have some fun. Meanwhile, Puck sits back, daydreaming. A very worried daydreaming, as he is very confused. I mean, he's now been married to Lucy for quite some time, but there's the allure of the other, of Hermia. But Lucy decides to call on the phone and have a little chat with somebody. It's always a good thing. Yeah. Not sure if she really notices anything that's amiss lately. I mean, obviously Puck has been drifting away recently. And Puck decided he's done just lying there, and maybe it's time that he goes for a little swim, kind of relax things. Yes, he doesn't want to think too much about things, and that was quite a cool quite a cool flip, but you almost murdered a mayor right there, so kind of dangerous too. Yes. Allie decides to come out and enjoy the fun. It's a wonderful warm day outside, so it's a great day for swimming in the pool. And yes, Puck has even gained another body point. Although, looks like Allie is a little too nervous to jump right in. But she says hello to a passing neighbor. And here comes James. I presume he's been working out quite enough for now anyway, so if he's going for a swim. I mean, that is going to give him body points after all, but turns out he's afraid of the pool as it is. But hey, look at that. He's no longer chubby. Yes, James is now in decent shape. Isn't that a wonderful thing? But anyway, Allie is practicing the piano here. And Lucy decides it's about time to get started on her charisma training, because that's going to be one of the most important skills she's going to need in traveling up the political career. And now James is calling a friend because he's very confused and very uncertain over what's happened with Rita. So he's calling his good friend Kendra, who he's known for a while, and telling her about it. And she suggests, why don't you come over here and talk about it with me. So while Puck changes the garbage in his underpants, James goes to visit his friend. We now head across town to the house of the McCarthys. Yes, this is the home of Kendra McCarthy, James' good friend that he's known for quite a while. She lives here with her younger sister and her single mother. Yes, it's a nice, quiet, pleasant house here in Veronaville. And they too are enjoying a relaxing Sunday. Yeah. James got to know her a little bit better over the last couple of years, and she's sort of become the one that he's gone to when he's had a little confusion. So she's talking to him over the phone and says, "Hey, why don't you come over?" And so here he comes. Yes, James is glad to get out of the house. I mean, he can certainly sense the tension between his parents, and he really does want someone to talk to after all. I mean, you know, Allie's a little bit too young yet to fully understand what's going on, so that's why he comes over here and talks to Kendra. Yes, he tells her a little bit about Rita and the troubles that he was having, the awkwardness that he felt, the fact that he couldn't kiss Rita even though he wanted to. And he also talks a little bit about his parents and why he thinks that there's trouble in their relationship. Yes, and he comes in and talks to her little sister there. Yeah. And Kendra says, "Well, be grateful you have two parents. I've only ever known my mother. My father left when I was young, shortly after my sister was born." So, there's that at least. So they chat a little bit more, and Kendra's very curious to know about his evening with Rita. She knows Rita vaguely, not too well. You know, they're not really the same type of girl, so they wouldn't really have been friends. But she's very curious about James's night over there. But it's time for lunch, so time to have a little snack. Yeah, and James, in his infinite awkwardness, doesn't come over to join them. Yeah. And Kendra is very curious when he asks James if he's ever been kissed before. And James says, no. Have you? And she has to admit that, no, she's not either. Yeah, and she asks him if he ever wonders what it feels like. And he has to admit that, of course, yes, he has often wondered. But yes, it's kind of hard for, yeah, and Kendra definitely is trying to hint at something, but of course, James is a little bit slow to catch on exactly what she means by what she's saying. Yes. She even, in the end, she has to really spell it out to him. She has to reach forward and grab his hands, and as they move closer together, and there they have it, the first kiss with Kendra and James. Yeah, they're both a little not sure what to make of it. I mean, they don't know, neither one of them knows what it means now, where they stand with one another. But she says here, one more to think about it before you leave, because he has to go. And now James, of course, is elated, but even more confused than before. Meanwhile, back at the house, Lucy works on getting her charisma points while the busty maid goes around cleaning things. Yes, Lucy really wants to get ahead in her career now that there's only the one income. But she takes a little break to talk to her daughter, even though, you know, whatever Allie is saying isn't really interesting Lucy too much, but oh well. It's time for lunch. So everyone gathers around for hamburgers, including the visiting Hermia and their other friend from school. Yes, and James has returned from his exciting little afternoon. Yeah, he doesn't quite know what to make of it all. I mean, he's always seen Kendra as a friend, nothing really more than a friend. But it was definitely something else that he experienced there. But he considers, well, maybe it just is a little experiment among friends, you know? So he's not sure what to think of it. But anyway, everyone's gathered together. Lucy and Puck are sitting diagonally across, but once again, they're not talking too much. They're not really spending the day together at all. Puck knows that Lucy is going to be quite tied up in her practicing for her career. So temptatious thoughts nag at his mind. Yes, he can't stop thinking about Hermia and the night or the evening that they had. I mean, he does still deeply respect and love Lucy, I think, but there's something about Hermia which he finds just more fresh and more exciting. It's like, even though Hermia is the same age as Lucy. She has the better body at this point. Speaking of which, a phone call, and a female voice that James doesn't recognize asks for Puck. So he calls for Puck to come over while he decides to work even more on his body. Yes, but Hermia calls and tells Puck that she can't stand it, she needs to see him again. But Puck says, his entire family's home, he's spending the afternoon with his family. And Hermia pretty much begs him. Says, Puck, you need to find a way to sneak out. You need to find a way to get out and see me. And Puck wants to say no, but he also knows he wants it too. Well, both Lucy and James are occupied. So it's really only Allie at this point who would notice anything, so Puck strikes up a little conversation with Allie to see what she's doing, and Allie says, I'm feeling a little bit tired, I might take a nap in a short bit. And James is like, Puck is like, well, aren't you a little old for naps? And Allie's like, no, I could use a brief one. But James continues working out. Yes, no point in going to see Rita with a flabby body, and even though he's fit, can never be too fit. Well, Allie decides to go up for a little midday nap, and now there's nobody really left to notice if James decides to sneak out. So Lucy continues getting her charisma points, and James continues working out in the machine, even though he's taking a little break now. And now that the cover of night has fallen, James gets one more phone call saying, oh, I can't stand it, and now he's off to see Hermia. We now once again return to the home of Hermia Cap and her young son, Arnold. Yes, Hermia has been, ever since she first saw Puck once again, she can't get him off the mind. Yes, she knows that he's married, she knows that he has 2 kids, but she also has a strong feeling that he's not happy, that his life has not gone the way that he had wanted back when they were teenagers and they dated long before he met Lucy. Actually, he had dated Hermia, but Hermia thinks that perhaps she can win him over. Well, she sends Arnold off to bed, making sure he's done his homework and ate all his veggies. And now that she's done that, she's going to call Puck to come over. Yes, as I said before, Hermia tells him, I can't stand it, you have to find a way to come over. You have to find a way to sneak out. Yes, Hermia thinks she's much more the kind of person that Puck needs than Lucy. But, anyway, Puck has snuck out of the house, and here he is, at the lair of temptation. Yeah, and of course, Hermia greets him very enthusiastically, and Puck can't help it. He's really happy to see her too. Yes, and he keeps talking, oh man, Lucy, he basically vents about Lucy and vents about his life, because Hermia listens to him, at least for now. So, but the talking is quite quickly replaced by kissing as they make out. Yes, there's a sort of a fire and energy that Hermia has that Puck has not seen in Lucy for a very long time. And it's going to be very hard for him to resist this. But he wants to come inside, just in case anyone is watching out there. You never know who might be peeping. So they sit together on the couch where they chat idly about things. But yes, the physical nature of the affair is very much on fire, and it does not take long before they start making out once again. Yes. Yes, while Hermia is on top of him, making out with him, Puck forgets about Lucy, even forgets about his own kids temporarily, and just gets lost. Lost in a world that might have been if things had gone a little bit differently for him, and now suddenly still seems to be possible. Yes, a failed culinary career, feelings of embarrassment by that career's ending, that all doesn't matter when he's with Hermia. Yes. But even as he is with her, the thoughts do return of Lucy and their vows and the importance. But he allows himself to be carried away even further by the distractions of the affair, doing the awkward white man shuffle with Hermia. Yes, as they grind even closer and have more and more fun together. But yes, it's quite a fiery and passionate affair that they have. And yes, they sort of know where this is headed if they let it. And Hermia is determined to get it there in any means that they could. Yes. But as Hermia says, "I'm tired. Let's go up to bed." Puck is unsure. He steps outside. Hermia asks, "What's wrong?" And Puck is like, "I'm not sure if I can do this, Hermia. I mean, I'm still married to Lucy, after all, and I'm not sure if this is the right thing to do." But Hermia smooths him over, tells him that this is what he really wanted all along. She's like, "Come on, let's come inside." And even though he feels a stab of anger towards himself for doing so, Puck is caught in the snare, and he brings himself upstairs into the bed of Hermia. Yes, this has been a dream of Hermia's for a long time coming. Back in the days when they were teenagers, they never actually got this far. It wasn't until Puck was with Lucy that he would end up having his first time. But Hermia always has wanted it, always has desired it. And now it seems like she will get her wish. Yes, Puck, his mind is in many places, and he tries not to be pulled in, but and now the betrayal is complete. Yes. Puck has gone as far as Hermia has taken him, and now he feels that there is no turning back. There is no turning back, and it's only a matter of time before everything that he's worked so hard to build falls apart. Meanwhile, back at the house, the rest of the family goes about their activities, completely unaware of the treachery that occurred just a short distance away in their own town. Yes, James is getting more and more fit as Sim's body somehow within the course of a single day can change from fat all the way to fit. Yes, Allie's done her little nap and decides to come downstairs and get some chips. James is taking a break from his exercise. I mean, he is quite exhausted after this time, and he comes to get chips too. Sue is just here to tell Hermia it's time to come home, because after all, she needs to rest up for school tomorrow, as does Allie, of course, but she's already had a nap. So they both remark, like, Allie says, "Hey, James, do you know that Dad's not here?" And James is like, "Yeah, it is kind of weird." But they don't think too much of it. And, even though Sue did come to tell Hermia it's time to go to bed, Sue can't resist beating their high scores on the video games. Yes. So, Sue and Allie play a little game together. But Allie's curious. She wants to ask Sue about the sort of the strange things that she's noticed, like Dad's been acting real different recently. And Sue explains, well, your dad's getting older, and he's, he might have different interests in other things. But now Sue is also very alerted to the possibility that something is amiss, but doesn't know exactly what. And finally, Lucy decides that she's worked enough on her points. Yes, and the guilty Puck has now walked his way home. And, yes, watches his sister-in-law and daughter talk to one another. And it's like, oh, it's good to see you. I just went out for a walk, some fresh air, that's all. And decides to talk to Sue, after all, because he saw the shadow of a suspicion upon Sue's face and decided, it was best just to talk with her and be friendly. Yes, but they talk about nothing really too important, and eventually he's like, well, Allie, it's time for you to go to bed, because you are going to school tomorrow, and I don't want you to be up too late, even if you did get a nap. But yes, eventually Puck says goodnight to Sue and announces that he's going to be going to bed. Well, Lucy goes to sleep once again alone in her bed. A very sad fate for her. And after an exhausting day of working out, James also goes to bed. Rita and Kendra on the mind. Not sure what to make of it, but very excited at the same time. Confused and excited. Well, Puck is up a little bit before he goes to bed, playing some video games, kind of annoyed that Sue's beat all his high scores that he's so meticulously set. But that's the least of the things on his mind. He comes out to sit in the shadow of the house and gaze upon the starry sky. He knows he's past the point of no return. He knows that he doesn't belong here anymore. He knows that eventually it is all going to come crashing down. But he doesn't have the heart to tell Lucy. Lucy has done so much for him over all these years. She is, after all, the true leader of the family, not him. But he knows what he's doing is terrible, but he also feels at this point it is necessary. But finally overcome with exhaustion, Puck goes to bed. Yes, once again, going to bed. The end of another night for the family. See you next time, everybody.
Nima po, be shipo, o talu kami abato, sta ha putitish, temo momo wasire.